Hartley taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. The killing of an Ethiopian Israeli leads to violence on the streets. The climate crisis, hottest temperatures ever recorded in Europe while the ice caps melt at both ends of the earth. Chaos in the Alps, maybe they should be on skis, not wheels. And could the tech meant to help you get a good night's sleep actually be keeping you up at night? And it's top of our newsfeed, Solomon Tekah. He was a 19-year-old Ethiopian Israeli shot dead by an off-duty Israeli policeman over the weekend. His death has caused mass anger in a community that is already massively marginalized. Here's Liz.
Ethiopian Israelis say this is their Black Lives Matter moment. Riots have broken out across Israel after an unarmed Ethiopian Israeli teenager was killed by an off-duty police officer in Haifa. The officer says he was trying to break up a fight when teenagers started throwing rocks at him. He then fired what he says was a warning shot, and 19-year-old Solomon Tekah died when the bullet bounced off the ground and hit him. A witness says it was the officer who was the aggressor. He may be charged with negligent homicide, but it's not enough for the Ethiopian community.
We can tell that no one sees us. No one investigates these issues deeply. They always sweep this issue under the carpet. We don't want these things to continue. We want them to treat this from the roots. We want an honest life. If there is no honest life, there won't be any calm in this country.
They say young people live in constant fear of police harassment because they're black and are victims of institutionalized racism.
We all mourn the tragic death of young Solomon Tekah. We embrace the family. We embrace the Ethiopian community. It is dear to me. It is dear to us. These are not mere words. I know that there are problems that need to be solved. We have worked hard and need to work more to solve them.
The Prime Minister has urged protesters to stop blocking roads, warning that violence won't be tolerated. But many say they won't back down until there's justice for Solomon and they feel safe in their own skin.
A look at the climate crisis now, and two stories have come out today which show just how quickly all those predictions of catastrophe are coming true. Mari's got the details.
The climate crisis is a song of ice and fire. First, the fire. In June, Europe was hotter than ever. A heatwave scorched the continent. The Copernicus Climate Change Service says European temperatures were on average 2 degrees higher, reaching 10 degrees Celsius higher in France, Spain, and Germany. The United Nations says average temperatures must not rise more than 1.5 degrees Celsius if the planet is to survive. Now the ice. The Arctic has been melting steadily for decades, opening up the Northwest Passage, while Antarctica is melting at the fastest rate ever, raising global sea levels to increasingly dangerous highs. Antarctica has lost as much ice in the past 4 years as the Arctic has lost in 34 years. So will the Earth's song of ice and fire have a tragic ending?
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. This is quite ridiculous. Mountain bikers crashing out as they cycle down the side of an icy mountain. This happened in the French Alps. The race, in inverted commas, takes place on the Mountain of Hell. 700 riders started, only a few finished, and no one was seriously hurt, but as you can see, it was complete carnage. Adidas have released the new Arsenal kit, and it allows people to create their own designs online and actually have the thing made. Now, people could write their Twitter handle on the back and have it tweeted out by the official Adidas account. And because the internet is full of trolls, people created some really offensive ones, and Adidas had to pull the promotion. Now, a bottle cap challenge is being shared around the internet. As you can see, it involves doing a pretentious-looking roundhouse in slow motion to remove the screw-top bottle. Cool. Now, this is action hero Jason Statham doing it. Kind of impressive is the singer John Mayer being able to do it. Millions of people have watched these egomaniacs do this trick over and over again for reasons best known to the watchers. Now, the actor Zaira Wasim was on course to be one of Bollywood's biggest stars, but then she abruptly announced on social media that she was quitting the business. Nia's in New Delhi to tell us why.
Zaira Wasim was pegged to be the next big thing in Bollywood. She shot to fame because of the Hindi film Dangal, which is believed to be one of the highest grossing Bollywood films ever. She had only done 2 films so far, but she's already announced her retirement from the film industry. That decision by the 18-year-old was announced on social media, where she put out a post to say, "The field brought me a lot of love, support and applause, but what it also did was to lead me to a path of ignorance as I silently and unconsciously transitioned out of Iman or faith." She said, "It was always so easy to succumb to the environment that damaged my peace and my relationship with Allah." So this decision, where she's ostensibly blamed her inability to carry out her faith as she wanted to, has definitely become a big talking point here in India. Many have criticized her decision, including Ramesh Srivats, and he's saying this: "While it's completely her choice, I have only one thing to say. If art and creativity are in conflict with some religion, please question the religion and not the art itself." Randeep Surjewala echoing Ramesh's thoughts. He's saying this: "While I respect her decision to quit films and her creative liberty, faith has nothing to do with artistic expression. Such remarks give fodder to bigots on either side of the divide to misconceive and mislead." Many have also questioned whether this choice that she spoke of was completely free and fair. Barkha, that's saying this: "I respect her space to make a choice to either join or leave films, but I'm deeply disturbed at the indoctrination of religious conservatism. Thus, choice is sometimes a complicated word for women especially." But while there was criticism for Zaira, there was also support from many quarters. Sadanand leading the way by saying that an 18-year-old woman has come to a personal decision about her faith and career. It may not be the decision you would have made or one that you would have wished her to make, but it's still her decision. Let's just thank Zaira for her work, wish her well, and close this case. And finally, to sum it up, Ashwaq Masoodi also taking a similar line where she's saying empowerment lies in the freedom to choose. She's figuring out what to do with her life. She's smart, she's young, she has every right to experiment. Her success is her own, her failures only hers. We have no right to tell her what to do or question her decisions. Now, irrespective of this criticism, Zaira Wasim sticking to her decision. She's saying for now she's done with films, but it's also led to a lot of disappointment among her fans.
And next, video has been shared online of American students being racist, and the frequency of these kind of videos appearing is making some students uncomfortable to go to class. Take a look.
Oh, white?
I don't think it's a coincidence that they were putting on a black face mask and saying the N-word in the same situation.
If the Holocaust never happened, Jews would be running the world right now.
It's fine, we just need gone.
Modern civilization. White people are the best thing that ever happened to the world. Big my God.
honestly, like, campus doesn't feel safe. Like, we're waking up every day going to a campus where we don't feel wanted.
Okay, let's spin around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. Google's been accused of disrespecting the laws of New Zealand. A court suppression order was in place after the murder of a British backpacker called Grace Milani. The name of the man charged with her murder was suppressed by the court, but was published by Google in its What's Trending in New Zealand email. This is video of a man called Shaquille Dukes wearing a hospital gown attached to a drip being arrested by a police officer near Chicago. Dukes says the police asked if he was stealing the drip. He said he was just going for a walk.
I could see if we were blocks away. I could see if I was in regular clothes and carrying the pole, you know, in my arms. But neither of those are the case. I was in a hospital gown with no clothes and with medicine pumping into my veins. So I'm not sure how we could have seemed as if we were attempting to steal it or posed this threat.
These are US Army tanks being transported through Washington, D.C. in preparation for Independence Day. President Donald Trump wants a parade of tanks because he wants to show off just how strong his military is. Apparently, he was inspired by France's Bastille Day, especially the parts where the tanks roll down the Champs-Élysées. There are concerns that these tanks will damage D.C.'s roads. And there was a great solar eclipse yesterday, and people were going crazy for it. Thousands gathered in Chile to catch a glimpse, and a group of blind men and women were among them. They'd come to listen to the eclipse and were helped by something called light sound. It changes light into high-pitched sounds and darkness into bass sounds. This is what it sounded like. Now, how long do you stay up at night staring at your phone before you go to sleep? Well, we know looking at that screen is bad for healthy sleep, but a new wrinkle has been added to the sleep anxiety blanket, the effectiveness of sleep apps.
Could your sleep tracking app be keeping you up at night? Some scientists think so. They blame inaccurate data and say all that tracking could increase anxiety, making catching some shut-eye even harder. Researchers have coined the term orthosomnia to describe an unhealthy obsession with achieving perfect sleep. Sufferers are said to practice bad sleep behaviour, like looking at a screen before bed. Research shows the optimum amount of sleep for most people is around 8 hours. But this varies across the population. For people who naturally need less sleep, being alerted to the fact that they are not sleeping enough could result in the nocebo effect, where the expectation of negative symptoms leads to people actually feeling worse. Fitbit has responded, saying few users have sleep anxiety. But even its own research suggests that it's 30% less reliable than medical equipment. And without regulations or standards, the result could vary from one device to the next. So maybe turning off the data could help you get to dreamland.
And last up, we haven't done one of these in a while. It's time for an Animals Doing Stuff, and we have a few cow stories for you to mull over. First to India for a viral video of a cow playing footy. Now, as you know, the cow is sacred there, so any attempted tackles would have to be deeply considered. I probably would have just let her have the ball. Well, that is Stevie Wonder's Isn't She Lovely? The bloke doing the serenading of this herd is apparently the first song that he learnt on the sax, and he just had to share his music. I'm not sure if they love it. And last up to Hampshire in England, where we can meet Alfonso Camassa. He sings opera and is taken to sing an arias to cows for reasons he really should explain for himself, because I just can't do it. And that will do for the Newsfeed team. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again tomorrow.